Welcome to Close the Door and Come Here, a Song of Ice and Fire podcast with heavy leanings towards our two favorite characters, Jamie and Brienne. Hi, I'm Clotho, and you can find me at Clotho Spindle on Blue Sky. Today, I'm joined with Guile.
Hey, I'm Guile. You can find me at Guile and Subterfuge on Blue Sky.
Devin.
Hey, this is Devin, GD Harpo on Blue Sky.
And Chicky.
Hey, I am Chicky, and I am Chicky on Blue Sky.
We're going to be discussing the first part of the Mystery Night from the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We're breaking them up into 3 different parts, so all our usual trigger warnings for any discussions of rape and violence. Like a little bit less of the former in the Dunk and Egg stories, but and also we do spoilers. So Dunk and Egg are departing the town of Stony Sept. Dunk is riding Thunder. Egg is all Joffrey named Rain, and they're leading the mule named Maester, who is carrying armor, books, camp, and food supplies. And it's kind of cute because Egg had put his old straw hat on Maester to protect him from the rain.
Yeah.
They're so sweet with the horses and the mules. And as they pass the town, the gates, Egg sort of pauses and they stop and look up and they see there's a trader's head on an iron pike, and Dunk retells the story of when he was younger, how he, in his version of the story, he's telling him he pulled the head off a pike in King's Landing. And he's sort of thinking to himself, there was actually his friend, was it Ferret, I believe, who had done it after being dared by Rafe and Pudding. And Ferret ends up tossing it down when the guards come running, and Dunk's the one who catches it. So, he kind of in his head, he doesn't tell him. He's like, I don't think this is good for him to know, but they're sort of terrorized the girls of Flea Bottom with it, and he didn't want to go into all that.
That's I wish I didn't know it though. Yeah, that's horrific. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah,
and then they dumped it in the bowl of brown.
Absolutely absurd.
It's absurd because they eat the brown.
Yeah. Oh, so gross.
Can you imagine like the bowl of brown to be like those the sauces, like the perpetual sauces that like a lot of the Asian markets have, where it's just been like kept up for like upteen decades now?
Or like the Dinty Moor. I just picture like a big thick Dinty.
Oh, I mean, I kind of picture that, but I also picture it as one of those sauces that just like it always gets added to, so it's never like done. So like
ancient.
There's always there's always humans in it, probably, because yeah.
That's gross. Yeah, because I mean, don't we sort of get that they put like is it like rats and pigeons and things?
Yeah.
So yeah, people.
It sounds like they accept basically anything in this bowl of fucking brown.
Bugs.
Let me tell you guys, I picked a bad night to make stew.
Oh gosh,
Are you serious?
Yeah, actually.
Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh man. So Egg informs him it's the head of the Septon, and they'd heard him preaching against Blood Raven. I think it was 3 days before. And we learned through that memory, that Prince Valor's sons had died in the womb. That Valor, Mataris, if I'm pronouncing that right, good King Daemon have all died from the Great Spring Sickness. And the Septon was basically preaching, just pretty harsh things about that, and that the true king was across the water. And it sort of makes Dunk sort of thinks of this, comes up a lot, but the riddle, how many eyes does Bloodraven have? 1,000 eyes and one. And he also thinks how he had seen Bloodraven once, and we get the description of the skin and hair white as bone. He has one remaining eye that's like blood, and the big wine stain, birthmark on his cheek, that he said that had given him his nickname, his original Brynden Rivers, his nickname of Bloodraven. Yeah, it's Dunk's not too happy about that. Like, he's sort of been mulling over this, and once they're a little bit further.
Oh yeah, like I love how disturbed he is at the fact that he saw this guy preaching, and then now he's like ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I appreciate it about Dunk that he never quite just kind of like accepts the like cruelty of the world around him, even though he definitely is thinking how this guy definitely was doing some treason. But
Right, because he keeps saying to Egg, it's like words are wind, and Egg's just like some words are treason, and he's his little bit, obviously more personal take on it. And Dunk sort of makes this remark, "Oh, you sound like a proper princeling," and uh, reminds him that, like, uh, that he had also been kind of what do you say, like the preaching, like Egg says he's preaching lies. It wasn't just, he takes affront at that. It wasn't, he's like, oh, well, the things he was doing, the great sickness, and that's not Bloodraven's fault. So taking defense there. And Dunk sort of responds, well, might be that so, but if we start cutting off the heads of all the fools and liars, half the towns in the Seven Kingdoms will be empty. And that's a direct quote from Dunk. So yeah, he's like, how far do you go with this? You can't, kind of like, it was like freedom of speech issue, which not,
Well, I mean, they didn't cut the heads off of everyone listening to the preacher, did they? They just cut cut the head of the snake. I mean, when the guy's talking about the real kings across the narrow sea, that's like, that's some treason.
Yeah. Just think about all the fires they have to put out, like constantly stomping this stuff out.
Yeah.
I find it interesting because it pops up a few times. I don't know if it's ever hit me as much as it did until this reread. And maybe because I read it all this morning, is that Dunk a few times, like he thinks that, oh, I forget Egg is at the end of he's a Targaryen. And I just feel like that, why is that not always on your mind? I don't like, how could you, I know they have their adventures, they do what they do when they have their report and he's Egg to him, but I just feel like that should always be on his mind.
Yeah, because I mean, it's also weird. I mean, I get the shaved head stuff because those describe he has the purple eyes, right? So it's like, it seems kind of funny that people don't pick up on it more, or Dunk isn't reminded of it more.
Well, and the way that Egg is just such an encyclopedia of like knowledge for like the high houses of the Seven Kingdoms and history, and it's like it comes up, at least it feels like it comes up in the novellas a lot. So you must feel like Dunk must be running into it all the time. Something Egg is telling him, and it's like you'd think that it would occur to him that it's because he has such a good education as a Targaryen.
So we pick up in the story. It's 6 days later. The weather's warm. They describe like a cool, fragrant breeze, and in the morning, and he's thinking their last hot meal had been 6 days ago. They're on their way to an old inn by the lakeshore, and Dunk says, he thinks they can afford some supper, but they're going to have to sleep outside, which Egg's not too happy about that, and he wants a little. He's like hoping that gets a good meal. They also have to save money. They don't have a lot left, and they have to save money for the ferry. Egg keeps suggesting, like he suggests to use his boot, and again, Dunk squashes that. It's too dangerous. Word would spread too quickly, and right about this time is when they hear this. They say they hear a group of horses coming up behind them. The sound before they see them, and out of caution, which seemed wise, Dunk decides to get them off the road and hide behind some bushes, but. It doesn't last too long, but the first see two young lordlings they describe their past. The third is ends up Lord Gorman Peak of Starpike. Then of course that's the little nod that George put into the Gormenghast series, and I think the hero anti-villain that was Steerpike instead of Starpike. But
Oh, is that what that is?
yeah, it's from I knew this before, but I had to look it up to confirm. But Mervyn Peake is the author. Gormenghast is a series, and then the villain is Steerpike. And there was a BBC movie, a miniseries I'd seen, like I think it was back in the early 2000s. It was really good. So if you ever get a chance, yeah. Jonathan Rhys Meyers. I haven't seen him for a while. Yeah, so it's like a weird little, but that Gorman Peak guy stops and yells like to show themselves. So I'm just wondering, like, how obvious was this? Like, had the top of a head stick out? Like, what is going on here that they saw them behind the bushes?
There's the two of them. Dunk's huge, and there's three horses. Well, one's a mule, but still.
Like,
and
what was
so
sticking
I have
out?
illustrated edition, and it's so
Oh, do they
beautiful
show it?
the way it's drawn. But I mean, they they wouldn't be hid at all.
Oh God.
It's just and if you don't have the illustrated edition, I definitely recommend it because it has Maester with his ears out of the floppy hat, Egg's old hat,
Oh,
and it's
Oh.
just I love it.
Yeah, the
oh,
Maester image is worth it. It's super cute.
oh, that's cool. Yeah, so he tried, but so and Dunk, I think his shirt is off because they'd been riding around like kind of relaxed, but he said they look scruffy because it's been 6 days since they've been on the road, and um he tells them immediately like kind of nope, they don't want any trouble, and Gorman kind of grills him over his shield, which has, I think it's like a knight on the gallows being hung, and he's like, oh, just something I just picked up, and he's skeptical that Dunk's even a knight at all. So the two younger lords, and we see this man who's they call Sir John the Fiddler, who comes up, and with Lord Alan Cockshaw, they both turn back. And Alan in particular has now started insulting, along with, Peak insulting Duncan Egg. Um,
So
and
I gotta say, knowing the mission that these guys are on, like Cockshaw's attitude toward everyone they meet, it's just like, why are you making enemies everywhere you go? Like, what is wrong with you?
Just not smart.
No.
that's a good
He
point.
wants Daemon off to himself, you
Oh
know?
God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh gosh, what a mess. I mean, just to be bugging people, like of all the things, like why harass random people? That's so weird. Like, the whole thing. Um, so he's even threatening to butcher Thunder for meat. It's terrible. Um, Sir John kind of like sort of puts out this little fire that's getting stirred up here, and just says, forgive him. He's kind of churlish, and proceeds. He asks them, which also sort of pings as odd. Asks them, like if they're on the way to White Walls, and it's sort of he's like, there's be jousting, and he thought like Dunk would do well, and it sort of snowballs into him inviting them along, and Gorman's not a fan.
Which this is also crazy to me. It's like, why are you inviting randoms to your
Right.
big treason party? Like, what is wrong with you? Isn't this odd? I mean, I get why he would ask to try to suss out if maybe they were going there, but it's just like, what?
Well, I mean, the heart wants what it wants.
Oh
Like,
God.
right?
All
Like,
right,
That's
all right.
truly what it comes
it's like
down
he's
to.
doing it
Yeah.
because he thinks Dunk's hot.
He
Like,
is immediately smitten. I mean, Dunk is standing there
Right.
shirtless.
And I've dreamed of
right.
you already as well. So
Yeah,
You
and I
gotta
dreamed
wonder
of it.
how many times he's cheated on Alan, because Alan's like immediately like, oh, he's gonna do that. You know what I mean? He's like
I-
going after him out of jealousy immediately.
Well,
this time
right.
around,
But I
I
mean, have
felt
we
like he probably
established that they have an exclusive relationship? Because
No,
it doesn't
yeah,
seem like they do. Maybe
yeah.
it's all in Alan's head.
Oh,
I,
right. That's a good point.
I feel like this time around, I was like, oh, maybe he's already told Alan about the dreams about Dunk, not knowing who it was, and maybe
Oh,
just his description. And so Alan was
oh,
just immediately
Oh,
like, oh,
yeah.
this is the fucking guy.
yeah.
Well, yeah, and I forgot, like, yeah, his dreams. So, like, he dreams about this dude, and then, like, the shirtless, hot dude shows up on the road. Well, of course he's going to invite him to come with, you know?
Maybe
Oh
that's it.
gosh. Oh, you should picture like a commercial with the music starting as soon as like the breeze, the little fragrant beer.
Blowing his hair in the wind,
Like
Oh
Dunk is
god.
Fabio, basically.
basically. Yeah.
Oh man. So, oh gosh. He's basically like tries Dunk is just like we can't, and he wishes him good fortune. It's just like he feels like he's as pleasant as like Sir John had been to them. He feels something's off. Like he knows that. Like it's like, Dunk the Lunk thing, but he's getting a weird feeling from him. And definitely knows that he's not like a hedge knight right off. So
Like, his
Egg
clothes are too nice.
right. Yeah, right. They described it as very like his horse, his clothes, everything. Very expensive stuff. So Egg informs, Dunk of who Gorman Peak is and how his family lost I think it was 2 of the 3 castles fighting for Daemon Blackfire, the Black Dragon, and um at this point Dunk recalls that Sir Arlen Squire and nephew Roger of Pennytree had been killed by, it sounds like, this exact Lord Gorman 16 years prior at the Battle of Redgrass Field.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Dunk thinks it's this exact guy, not just somebody from his house, but him.
Oh, so that's, and he seems really, kind of, it's really impressed upon him that, wow, this is, and this comes back later. um, as the road, as they go further down the road, Dunk suggests maybe they should stop at White Walls after all to fill their bellies, and maybe like a wedding guest would need somebody afterwards, like escort someone back, like they could find work. Um, Egg reminds him that they're supposed to be going to the wall, and Dunk's like kind of funny. He's like, it's been standing for 8,000 years. It can wait a lot longer. Um, and in his mind, at this point, he's still thinking about it. He imagines like himself defeating Lord Gorman, and he's like thinking about sort of avenging Roger in a way, and you know, and Egg is just like, he can tell that he's kind of considering, like, I think he reads that he's considering, he's like, I don't think you're ready for the lists again. So he's he's like, no, let's not do this.
I love how Egg knows this. You are not up to this. You are not.
And the way he says it is just so funny. He's like, you're not thinking of entering the list, are you, sir? And Dunk's like, might be his time. And Egg is like, it's not, sir.
Oh gosh. So it's sunset. They arrive at the inn, and the innkeep pretty much immediately. There's a little cute little scene where she's sweeping at the front area, I guess, under the porch or whatever, and she's informs Dunk that they'll have to wait till morning for the next ferry because Ned, the ferryman, had already taken Lord Gorman and his company across in their last run. She said there's a hedge knight, lets them know there's a hedge knight camped down the road, but she doesn't know where, but that's none of her business. And she's like, the inn is full. They won't even give them a meal. They're like,
I
we're
can't
only
believe she
feeding
didn't
guests.
even sell them food. Like, this is crazy.
Absolutely,
What
yeah.
kind of innkeep doesn't even sell someone food?
Yeah, I thought that was strange, but maybe they're just overburdened. I don't know. Yeah. So when Dunk when Dunk tells Egg this, he thinks he's like he'd rather eat his own boots than eat like the salt beef again. Um and so they go further down the road.
Wait, is that where Dunk is like, you'll eat my fist?
Oh no,
Crack me up.
Oh man, I know the salt beef
So
sounds
many
horrible.
threats from Dunk in this one in particular, and I'm just like, do you ever actually do it?
No, he doesn't. It's
No.
so obvious he never is going to follow through.
That's why it's so funny. Like, always really, oh man. And it sounds nasty. Like, they at one point, doesn't he think the salt beef? It's like even after they soak it for a long time, it's still chewy. Like, it just doesn't ever. Like, it's like,
Yeah, it really sounds horrible.
I was just imagining beef jerky, but it can't be that because this sounds so awful.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
It sounds like you can kind of get it toward beef jerky if you soak it for a long time. So yeah, it does not sound.
flavors. Oh gosh. So they come upon it looks like described as like an old grove where basically like some weirwood, seems like the white stumps of weirwood trees have been cut down, and they meet Sir Kyle the Cat of Mistymore. What a name. It's so beautiful. Sir Glendon Ball and Sir Maynard Plum, sitting in this old grove, and two of them are cooking, and Sir Kyle's very welcoming. He's the most like sort of talkative of the three, and they learn more about Lord Butterwell from the other knights, and um, Dunk notices that Glendon's can't be more than 16, 18 tops, and he says he's only been a knight for a year, but claims like he's going to make his name and get the dragon's prize, and um, but when they turn, like they start criticizing Bloodraven, and he's just like, Dunk's just like, no, please, like he knows he can't stay quiet. Egg, he's like,
Yeah.
his mouth is gonna get killed someday, but
This is another reason that it's amazing that Dunk ever forgets that he's a Targaryen, because it feels like they run into these moments quite a bit.
So much, and just throughout this entire this whole story, I'm like, why did y'all keep going forward? At some point, you just should have been like, yeah, maybe we might not need to go there.
Oh God.
So it's like is it regional or is it sort of like, because it seems like a common theme, or is there constant sort of, there's like just constant grumblings about the Thurs. I don't know if it's just like the idea that you always complain about whoever's in charge, or if it's really just, I guess it's just constant.
I think there's an element of that. I think anytime you meet somebody new, like this is just a common ground for
Right.
conversation. It's like you talk about the weather and you talk about how crappy the government is, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of reminiscent of the way that when in Feast, Brienne meets the two hedge knights on the road and they kind of gossip about the
Right.
royal gossip, and they figure out who Brienne is through that and stuff,
Yeah.
I think it's just, this is just a common conversation that people have.
Yeah. So, and during this sort of lengthy conversation, at one point, Sir Glendon claims to be the son of Sir Quentin Ball, also known as Fireball. Interesting name. I think for his red hair, right? I'm not sure about that.
The original, yes, the original Fireball.
Red, yeah, he doesn't
This
have.
one, this one doesn't, and someone brings it up later. He doesn't even have the red hair.
Doesn't even have
I'm
hair.
just reminded that hair is how we determine.
Oh, right.
I mean, that's how genetics work in this universe.
Height,
is absolutely
hair, height.
paternity.
Yeah, because I think they also describe this guy as being kind of short, and aside from being obviously young, but he's also short and pimply faced, and he's just, yeah, they're kind of, I think they're a little bit skeptical to a certain extent because I haven't seen him fight or anything, and he's also sitting off to the side, I think, right under a tree, so he's kind of no.
Well, you kind of can tell Glendon has like a chip on his shoulder a little bit.
Right.
You just kind of comes through.
Oh God, I can only imagine all the crap he's been given. So the hedge knights, they all have to wait. Even the next day, they have to wait until basically the inn empties out and all their like retinues go out. It's they're not getting. It's not like, oh, first come first serve. You arrive early. They have to wait for all the rest of them to get
they're
out.
at the end of the line. Okay, so one thing that happens in this section that I love is when whoever it is that says something about they could all be old King Aerys's bastards or whatever.
Right.
And Maynard Plum says the little line. I think this is the way that the whole Blood Raven Maynard Plum thing is threaded throughout this is so genius. I don't even know if I noticed this the first time I read it. I don't know. Did you guys pick up on it?
I don't think I did either. And I think I'm on that page when he just says, "And who's to say we're not?" When he says that, until you just said it, I don't think I've ever really paid attention to that.
Yeah, there are just little hints throughout here that Maynard Plum.
Right,
and Maynard Plum is hilarious.
Right.
Yeah.
And he have like they pointed out like, because I was like that moon, like the sort of thing, like I think there's a theory
brooch.
that maybe that was part of the helping the glamour or something.
People think it's a glamour. Yeah,
I absolutely do. Yeah.
At least he got to hear Egg defend the Targaryens.
True.
Oh gosh. So it sounds that the next day, this is not a breezy day. It sounds like they got the midges, they're waiting by the water. It's horrible. Like it just keeps getting hotter and hotter, it seems like, from here on out. And Egg is talking about tells Dunk about the clutch of the last 5 eggs of the last dragon that was left, and he and his brothers all have them. I think the idea is they put them in their bassinet or whatever, in their little babies with them. And
that's what they say. When a Targaryen was born, they would put an egg in their crib and hope that they could hatch it.
Right. And so is the egg, because that's how I think they're discussing how his Butterwell has an egg. So was there really an egg? I was kind of confused at the end. Was there really an egg? Like he really had an egg, or was it a fake egg all like does Butterwell have an egg?
No, yeah, he has an egg.
Yeah,
okay.
He has
Okay.
Well, he did have an egg. He has an egg at this point. Let's put it that way. At this point,
weird. They were just handing out eggs, but with the daughters or something.
I think it was a prize. Yeah, I mean, he only has the one, and it was a prize. What did he say? His father or grandfather was given the prize from some Targaryen.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was called something or if that's a different story. But like the guy had sex with the daughters and like left somebody pregnant or something, so they gave him an egg, or I don't know if I'm confusing this. But
Maybe that is it. I don't know.
yeah, so we get a little bit of info about the eggs in there, and finally it's their turn on the ferry. And Dunk tells Egg, like, he makes this little comment, if he wins, they'll both have dragon's eggs. And like Egg looks, I can just imagine his face. It's just like it says Egg looks doubtful. Oh man. So even the uninvited, like, I guess the thing is, it's ill luck to refuse hospitality. So that's how all these sort of like English hangers-ons, or what you call, like, these knights are kind of walking up to the castle and getting in. Because
Yeah, it feels like these like wedding tourneys are a real good way to go get yourself a good meal and possibly
Yes.
out of the weather if you're a hedge knight.
Right. Yeah, because at least for them, because they describe how like the hall was only for the lords and knights, but poor Egg had to go. They had to go sit in the inner yard with the other squires, so it wasn't as nice of a situation for him. Um, but the knights said, when Dunk's inside the castle and a little cooler in there, everybody's commenting on his size. Um, you know, they're discussing, like, who's ransom for the winners, and I think they still get dragons even if they lose. So you just get all the information, and um, they all stand when Lord Ambrose Butterwell and his Frey. There's a whole series here where they describe everybody, his Frey bride, and I didn't know this. Like, I had to look up because I was confused. But like, so she's the older sister of Walder Frey,
Well,
and then
the snot-nosed kid is Walder Frey.
yeah, I'd forgotten this if I knew it. So I was like, oh, that's kind of. I mean, he's horrible, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's wild how old he is. Hard. And they keep bringing him up as like squirming and misbehaving throughout the whole thing too.
Yeah, and just always sucked.
That's a perfect way to put it. Oh gosh. So the feast finally begins, and after a long round of toasts, it was really long too. It was really Sir John the Fiddler comes over and sits next to Dunk to chat for a bit. And, you know, there's just the crazy descriptions. Like, this is kind of ending it out right here, but there's the bride and groom cut a giant pie filled with, like, they were like hundreds of birds and all different types, and then Dunk gets up to excuse himself because he's too drunk. But so anything, I guess, anybody wants to add at this point, that's kind of where I've ended this right here with all the hullabaloo of the wedding going on.
Yeah, I think this is a good setup. You love how George at this point, because I think this comes out. Does this come out before Feast or before Dance? It might be between Feast and Dance when the Mystery Night comes out. So George is kind of luxuriating and being able to throw around house names in a way that he was not as well able to in the earlier Dunk and Egg novellas. So there's a lot of density in here for a novella, and it's hard to imagine someone who hadn't read A Song of Ice and Fire not being kind of frustrated trying to weed their way through some of the information that's in here. But I mean, if you have read it all as we have, it's fun because you kind of you know some of these names, some of these houses, some things about these people.
Yeah, and like you said, just really good setup. Coming off season 1 of the show, like, this made me really excited for when they get to this.
Right.
And just the cast of characters we get to meet right here in the beginning, with John the Fiddler and his crew, and then you have Glendon Ball and all that crew, like the Hedge Knights. So that made me really excited.
Oh God, yeah, they must be casting. Around. They're probably casting Bloodraven right now as we speak.
Oh, so cool. Think of that. Oh my gosh, because wasn't there like I don't know, I didn't watch House of Dragons. The only picture I could find, so was there like a flashback or something in the House of Dragons? So there was. I don't know if they cast somebody new for that, or was there like a brief Bloodraven?
House of the Dragons before this in the
okay. Okay. So that would have been like a foreshadowing or something
between. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Devin knows because he's watched House of the Dragon.
I watched it, but I do not know. I remember.
Yeah, I don't know. All I've ever heard is I've seen on Reddit, on the ASOIAF Reddit, some talk about there's something with a dagger that they did in House of the Dragon.
Okay.
It is
I
somehow.
think it's supposed to be the dagger that Arya eventually kills the Night King with.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the
Oh.
cat's paw dagger, apparently. And then, yes, that's what Arya uses to kill the Night's King, supposedly. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else in House of the Dragon that's supposed to be. It's like Fire and Blood, which I haven't read. I know there are some like little nuggets in there, but I just don't care enough. So,
Well, they're casting so good. I'm sure they'll pick a good Blood Raven. Like we'll get some quality, some quality actors. A lot of these parts. Do we have any mail for this section?
Yes, we do have a piece of mail. So from Live Scene 8420 on Reddit. Show question: do you think we will see Makar and Arian in future seasons of the show? I've given up on the books. If so, what do you think their roles will be? I definitely think we see Makar.
oh, for sure.
Mhm.
For sure. I would be surprised if we don't see
If we
Makar in season
didn't,
2,
yeah,
no matter what they say.
Oh, yeah.
that'd be weird if we didn't. Because I think there has to be a scene with him dunking Egg at some point, like that. We gotta get.
And I mean, Egg and Dunk presumably too fight with Makar when they're there when Makar dies.
Oh, yeah.
So they have time together before they have a lot of time together still.
Well, and
Right.
I think Dunk and Egg are there when Arian dies too. So I mean, presumably, if they get enough seasons, yes, we will see
Yeah.
both.
And Daemon for that matter too. I think they spend time with Daemon. I mean, Dunk names his kid after him, so
Mhm. Wait, what?
or Darren, sorry, not Daemon.
I was like,
I mean,
Daemon?
Egg names his kid. How come I can never get I get Dunk and Egg mixed up continually. My God.
All these names sound so similar. It's
I
like
know. I know.
And the funny thing, guy, is like when you said it, I do because you have done that. I just immediately knew
Just
you meant
immediately.
Egg.
Yeah.
I was like,
Right. It's like when people tell me left or right and I just do the opposite because I know I don't know them off automatically. Yeah.
Oh gosh, right? Because and I didn't realize till I was sort of researching because there's so much. I at one point I think years ago I had tried to look at the Targaryen, like listen to podcasts with the history, but just this recent I was looking up. So it sounds like Maekar calls like because I was wondering if Dunk and Egg were on the road up until Egg became a king, but it's like he calls him back after Maekar becomes a king. So that's what it sounds like. I'm from reading that correctly. So they've
It
had they
seems
must if they're
like
going to include
Mhm.
that, then I think they'd be have scenes with him and
yeah, it seems
yeah.
like that. So at some point, yes, they will stop being hedge knights, but I think they've got a ways to go as hedge
They get
knights.
married, and Egg, not Dunk, gets married. And, it's like, I don't think he's going to be a hedge knight with a
Right.
wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he gets married while Maekar is still alive too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
yes,
definitely I would think, yeah.
miles to go on that. Okay, so before we close out this episode, I remember the one thing that I thought was so relatable in this first section and was so funny is how Dunk is complaining about the inflation on the cost of the ferry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
2 years ago, this
It was
cost
a
whatever.
lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Oh
He's
yeah,
like-
that stood out.
He's like, this costs 3 times what it did 2 years ago.
Right.
Blame
And we got-
Blood Raven.
We get it, Dunk.
We get it. It's relatable.
Oh man. That's and you think about it, all the it's expensive, so I don't blame him for sleeping on the side of the road. So,
He's got to save money. He doesn't have
Yeah.
much.
so I guess any final thoughts about the chapter or section of the novella, rather?
Just the inflation part for me.
Okay. You can reach us at closethedoorand@gmail, on Tumblr at closethedoor, and come here on tumblr.com and submit questions to the Jamie and Bran, the chapter threads on the Jamie and Bran subreddit. And you can follow us on Blue Sky at closethedoorand.bluesky.social. And please like, review, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, any place that you might listen. And you can support us at Patreon at Close the Door. I'm closing the door. Get out.